right, you son of a sea cook.
What?
You told me, oh, you got to watch the women's, because I did not try to watch this program live because I nodded off on Raw. I would have probably gone into a coma for this. It's not, I can't be up past 9 o'clock Eastern time at night. I'm too old. So I watched this the next day, and you already said, well, watch the women's gauntlet. It's not that long. Oh, that's like saying the Bataan Death March wasn't that long.
Oh, come on. Compared to everything else on this show, it was relatively short.
No, it wasn't. Only the height of the participants.
No, there were some tall women in there, it seemed like.
Well, no, there was. And that's another thing you're going to have to identify for me. Well, hold on a second. They had a women's gauntlet match. And obviously, people come in at random times, apparently. And it's, it can end at any time, like the announcer said. Well, it certainly could have. As far as I was concerned, I was in agreement with them. It could end at any time. But the first two were Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter, which last time I checked, weren't those both baby faces? But they had to wrestle each other for however long until Statlander gave Jamie a big move of some description. And music played, and here came what looked like a fucking, what was the female Vikings were the Valkyries, right? She's dressed in a goddamn headset, looks like some Bob Mackey 70s share business going on here. Megan Bane. And I'm like, who in the wide, wide world of sports is Megan fucking Bane? And apparently she is an aforementioned, she's a Viking. We know by the way she dresses, but she's from Stardom in Japan. How come now? At first, all the Japanese girls were 4'9", weighed 80 pounds, and looked like, Japanese fucking Adrians from Rocky. And now all the girls from Japan are 6 feet tall English women, or American women, or Caucasian women, however you would term it, with long fucking hair and big upper frontal protuberances.
She had a look. I mean, she was all right in the ring as best you could tell in a chaotic match like this.
Yeah.
But she had a look. If you had someone like that you were bringing in and going to do something with, would you just debut them like this?
That's why I thought during Statlander and Hayter, the announcers push, well, it could end at any time. If a pinfall, nobody else will get to come in. I thought, Megan Bane, here she comes. Look at this, Amazon. She's going to beat these other two up, and they're going to put her over, and nobody else, it's going to end, right? Oh, no.
Nothing ever ends in AEW. No program or nothing ever ends.
She got in the ring, and Hayter was on the floor somewhere selling the one bump that Statlander had given her, and Megan Bane and Statlander fight. Well, now Statlander's the biggest girl otherwise in the match, so now immediately Megan Bane's size is somewhat normalized. And she gave Statlander a big move and covered her, and then Jamie Hayter saved. So then Statlander rolled out, and Megan Bane and Jamie Hayter fought. And then here's the problem. The longer that Megan Bane went, at first you thought, oh shit, put her over now. Boom, new women's champion. Yeah, boom. And then the longer this went, the more you're like, maybe not. She picks Jamie Hayter up for a vertical suplex and holds her. And then it looked like they were trying to do the spot where Jamie rolled through with a small package because she'd let her down or lost her. And then Jamie tried to roll through, but Megan Bane landed on her fucking head in the small package. And Jamie Hayter just rolled away. And then Megan Bane rolled out of the ring. And then here came Julia Hart. So now Hayter jumped out on the ramp and started fighting Julia Hart. And we went to the break, and that was Megan Bane's window. And the windowsill slammed on her knuckles, because now she's one of the girls. So they came back, and Willow was trying to fight with Megan Bane. And now she was kind of wandering a bit, Megan. And they were fighting in the ring and on the floor at the same time. So now it's turned into a mess. And Tony Storm comes in, and now it's back and forth with all of them, and people dove off the stage. And then Harley Cameron. What in the world, Brian, do you see in Harley Cameron for this fine wrestling program?
That's not what I said when I put her over to you last week. I didn't say she was fine for the wrestling program, although I did enjoy her here. I thought she did a good job with what they gave her. But she is a talented, good-looking woman. When I say talented, how many good-looking women in skimpy outfits do you know that are good ventriloquists?
What?
She is incredible as a ventriloquist. She could play guitar. She could sing. If I was managing her...
Hold on, wait a minute. Just has anybody ever asked that question before? How many good-looking women in skimpy outfits are good ventriloquists?
Exactly. If I was managing her, I would turn her into a national star. Not wrestling. Get away from the wrestling. But...
back away slowly from the wrestling.
Exploiting everything else about her, from her character to her ventriloquism, and we'll focus on that.
Exploiting everything from her character to her honor, to her integrity. No, that's not what I'm saying. Honestly, to her morals.
Very talented woman. Very talented.
They would all be exploited.
If I had a talk show, I would have her on at least once a month.
If I had a Harley, I'd talk her into more.
No, but see, the problem is someone has to write her skits. See, that's the thing. She has the ability, but someone needs to actually be able to write her act.
So you just want her to be a mere puppet that you can just stick your hand up her and make her do things.
That is not what I'm saying. That is what she's saying, and that's not even what she's saying. That's what the dummy says. You can't see what she says. She's that good.
Blame it on the dummy.
She's that good.
You big dummy. Well, I'll tell you who the big dummy was. Julia Hart.
And Paul Winchell.
And did you ever see Paul Winchell in skimpy clothing?
Paul Winchell lived in Point Lookout, so I grew up hearing all about Knucklehead Smith and Jerry Mahoney.
Did you ever go up and ask Paul to throw his voice? And if you did he throw you out?
He was in the Three Stooges movie. What was it? Stop, Look, and Laugh? Was that it?
Yes, he was the host.
That's right.
The compilation of fine stooge efforts.
But we are making all the 70-year-old listeners feel like kids right now.
I'm over here at the Alzheimer's home, they are rolling in the fuck. We're probably going to flatline some motherfucker over there. Well, he shouldn't have been listening to us on a ventilator. Folks, if you're intubated currently, please turn off the program. Julia Hart, this time, remember last week or whenever it was, she missed that nobody saw, that the announcers called and the girl sold, but that you couldn't see anything on anybody? Apparently, she somehow took a swig of a 16-ounce black food coloring and spit it in Harley Cameron's face. It colored her whole fucking head. And then when she did that, Tony Storm, small package Julia, 1, 2, 3, and won the fucking thing. So... and thanks for coming, Megan Bane. What?
Tony doesn't know how to get people over. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
She was in the middle of a 7-girl gauntlet match that she didn't win in her debut appearance.
She came out, she looked terribly impressive, and...
then she looked terrible, and then she was gone.
And then most fans are saying, what was her name?
The girl that wore the headdress.
Tony Storm versus Mariah May Grand Slam in Australia, which apparently will be available on Max, I believe. What are your thoughts on them going back to Tony Storm and Mariah May?
Well, but it's not a grudge match anymore because Tony Storm doesn't remember Maria.
Or she's saying that. This could be a performance by timeless Tony Storm. She's playing the role of a naive Tony Storm.
To what purpose would...
to get the title.
To get the title? What about if she came back and said, I'm Tony Storm, I'm the former champion, you screwed me around, I want my rematch? Why does she need amnesia?
The women's division needs some psychological games. Well, that was the women's gauntlet match. Aren't you glad you watched it?
Yeah, I'm going to talk to you off air about
come on,
recommending things to me here in the future.
It was better than what else was on the show.